What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Lowdown. I'm your host, Lorenzo Mercado, where we talk business and all things real estate. Today, I'm super excited because I'm here at 50 Hills up in Millbrae. And as you can see, we're here at the Winners Club. So thank you to Brian Tran and Raymond Cho for allowing me to use the studio. So what's up, guys? Welcome to the show.
I appreciate you coming down here, bro.
If people don't know who you guys are, maybe we'll start with you, Brian. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Brian Tran. I'm a local entrepreneur out here in the San Francisco Bay Area. People know me mostly for flipping real estate, owning rentals, but I do a little bit more than that. I have 8 companies, 9 if you include the personal brand, but it ranges from Boba shops, coffee shops, virtual assistant company, real estate brokerage, property management, and then flipping, wholesaling, rentals, out of state, in state. And that's where we are.
He does everything. All right, Raymond, what about you?
He does it all. Raymond Cho. I'm full-time into real estate right now. I've been so for the past 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. And before that, I was in engineering, trained, and worked straight out of college for like 10 years or so.
Okay.
So, yeah, very different industry for me. Definitely got me out of my shell. Yeah. But that's a little bit about me.
Okay. Brian, you have all these different companies. What was the first one, and did you start in real estate? What was the first one?
Yeah, I got my license right out of college. So 21, I started out as a realtor. And then somewhere along the lines, like year 2, I said, you know what? I had an opportunity to run a coffee shop / restaurant / bar. And then it had Airbnbs upstairs. And then I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to do that. And so smartest thing I've ever done, dumbest thing I've ever done. Dumbest thing because it failed, but it was smart because it taught me that, grit, hard work, and that, I can do anything I want, like kind of that attitude. So then it failed. I went back into real estate, but I always had that tick on my shoulder. Like, I'm going to do it again and I'm going to be successful at it. And that's why it became real estate agent. Then 2016, came back, opened up Rise and Grind, which is still around today, 8th Avenue in the Richmond district. And then it just started tumbling from there, And I'm a business guy. I'm not people try to say, oh, you're a real estate investor. I'm like, if it makes money, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to turn it into a business.
Mm-hmm. So did you go to business school? Coming from your family, was anyone in business? Or did you always have this entrepreneurial mindset from a young age?
I think the good thing is that my mom and dad were immigrants. I think like most of us here. And so you kind of see them leave a country because of war. And then they come here with no English, no money, and they're able to kind of be pretty successful. Mm-hmm. And so with knowing that and seeing that, I kind of have that fire and that itch inside me that I'm given this great opportunity to be in one of the greatest countries in the world, have the freedom, options, and choices to go out there and crush it, and that's what I do.
Yeah, I agree.
They were entrepreneurs, right? Themselves. They were like...
Sort of. My dad was a cab driver, and so, I guess you could say they're
they work for themselves.
They're self-employed, but you know how self-employed are. Like, you basically bought yourself a job. My mom had a nail shop. We were there freaking every day, 7 days a week. I grew up at the nail shop, basically. So I kind of could see that they were working for themselves, but it was like, there's more. Yeah. I knew there was more, and I knew there was a better way of doing things.
Yeah. Seeing that grind, I think, definitely instills some things into you, whether you know it or not, for sure. Yeah. What about you, Ray? Did you come from an entrepreneurial background? Did you do anything?
Not at all. Not at all. Same with Brian. Like, my parents came from Burma. They're Chinese in ethnicity, but they came from Burma back in the 70s, and they were working like multiple jobs, bussing tables. They didn't speak English, so they had to pick that up. So basically working from the ground up, finally got some desk jobs, and then just put like all 3 of us, me and my 2 sisters, through school. And that's how I ended up here. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. With the real estate thing, what was some of the biggest challenges that you went through in the beginning?
As a realtor back then, 21 years old, it was much harder than it is today. Today, there's a lot of realtors that are 21, 22. I went to a Tom Ferry event yesterday, and they're all young. And so it's becoming more of a norm. But when I was in the business, it was not normal to be young. And so it was very hard to get clients. I had to always wear a suit to look older. And of course, I grew up in Oakland. I was kind of ghetto. Mm-hmm. And so I had the hardest part was dropping that and trying to become somebody more professional. Mm-hmm. And that was hard too. So there was a lot of hard challenges along the way. Mm-hmm. And of course, real estate is not an easy business by no means. Any sales job is not, because you don't get paid. It's all commission based. So that's a different set of challenge. But the one thing is that I know if you stick at something long enough, hard enough, and actually do the work, you will become successful.
Yeah.
But if you don't do the work, then you still broke. You'll always be broke.
How long did it take you to get your first deal?
Not that long, actually. I think like 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, 6 months is probably long to some people, but to me, I was like, you know what? 6 months is great.
That was the little shack.
No. So that was actually when I sold the little shack in SF, the earthquake shelter. That was actually technically year 3 in real estate. So year 1 I was in Oakland. Year 2, I started the pop-up cafe with the Airbnb SROs upstairs. And then year 3, I went back to real estate, and I started at Vanguard Properties in SF.
Okay.
That kind of took off. You guys were all over the news.
That took off, and that came from going after the notice of violation list.
Oh, yeah.
You see, but if I was smart enough, back then, I should have bought a lot of the properties I was selling because I was doing everything that I'm teaching people to do now, but I was just like in the mindset of, I got to list this and only make 2.5%.
Yeah.
I could have wholesaled half these property and made way more.
Yeah.
My commission on that shack, I mean, I think it sold for like $415,000, but I had my partner Alex. So our commission was like 10 grand total.
Dang.
And then, so split, right?
Splits.
So $5 grand each, but wait, there's more. Vanguard Property had me on a 50-50 split. So $5 grand became $2,500.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. My mentor, who didn't do jack diddly squat, took another 35% of that. Yeah. So I walked away with like $1,800.
Mm-hmm. But that was like proof of concept, right? I mean, I think that's the hardest thing is like after going through those 6 months of not having any deals and stuff like that, that first one is kind of, no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing like the realtor thing, the flip or whatever, I think your first deal is definitely the hardest. So,
100%. The first anything is always the hardest.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I agree.
Then it gets easy.
Yes.
And it becomes a game.
So your first year, you did one transaction?
No. I think the first year I did like 3 or 4, and then it was like 30, 40 grand I made, something like that. Like, because the price points in Oakland were small.
Okay.
Back then it was like 400,000 or 500,000. So luckily my brother owned the brokerage, so he didn't charge any splits. But unfortunately, there was no training.
Yeah.
And so my first deal, I remember it too, man. I was writing the offer, and then the listing agent calls me and goes, hey, you messed up here. And then he literally walked me through writing the contract.
On the job training.
And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm pretty sure he screwed me too. Like, probably made me checkbox something that like the buyers probably didn't need to pay. But I was like, whatever, dude. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like the beginning. And
that's
like
the best way to learn, though.
Definitely trial and error.
Yeah.
Trial and error.
And it's so crazy because back then, like that little money, like 30, 40 grand, I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, it's like so much money.
Yeah.
Because then I used to cut hair before that. That's how I paid my way through college. And I was charging $20 a haircut. And I was just like, man, I would have to cut 10 people to make $200, right? And it would take me all day.
Mm-hmm.
But but real estate, you get that big one lump sum. It's like, dude, $5 grand, $6 grand.
I'm rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then of course there's a hell of work. Like it takes 30 days to close escrow. It took 6 months of freaking prospecting to get that one client. So, but it just didn't matter. That little bit of money.
Yeah.
You never forget it.
When did your mindset change from being a realtor to investor? Because I feel like there's such a big disconnect. Realtor mentality versus investor mentality.
I don't remember the exact date. It was probably like 2016 or so, like when I was working with a lot of investors and stuff. And I remember I used to go to every single signing. When you close on a property, you used to go into the escrow company, they notarize it, you sign the closing docs. I reviewed the closing statement. And then obviously it said like, okay, this is what Brian Tran makes, 20 grand. And then you look at the bottom, which is the seller proceed, and they made 200 grand.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
hold up.
I need to be there, not here. And then that's when it clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the problem with being a realtor too is that a lot of these brokerages, they want you to be realtors and nothing else.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is because that's how they make their money. Your splits.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to become an investor. They don't want you to have financial freedom. They want you to continue to chase that top 1%.
Yeah.
But the top 1% realtors, you got to work your butt off, and you probably make less than a top 1% investor.
Totally. I agree completely, for sure. Yeah, I'm a new realtor also. I got my real estate license in December. I'm currently at Coldwell Banker, and I've talked to many people there, and I'm like, oh, do you guys invest also? Some people are like, oh yeah, I have like an investment property. It seems very nonchalant, but definitely not anything like here, like where everyone kind of has that like investing mentality, for sure.
Yeah.
Ray, when did you have that shift, like where I want to get into real estate?
Honestly, I think it was during COVID. I had a lot of time. I was working like a state job where, I could spend my time all day basically on social media. So that's what I did. I was following a lot of people on social media, your Thatch Wins, your Ryan Pinedas, all those guys doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your Pace More Resub too. So that really got me inspired. And from that point on, I was just like, okay, I need to plan my way out of this to get out of the rat race and, see where we could take this real estate thing. Cause I wanted to do like wholesaling, flipping and stuff in the Bay Area.
Mm.
And that's when I approached Brian here and said, hey, look, I'm quitting in like a few months. What do you think I should do?
Mm-hmm.
And he just invited me over to the side office, where you were at earlier. And yeah, it just completely helped, like just being in that environment and being around a lot of people that are motivated and self-starters.
Yeah.
That just got me going.
Yeah.
And, led me to my first deal.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. And when you're in that mentality or environment where people aren't doing the same things, obviously you're not going to have that mindset. Like in the hospital right now where I work, no one has that mentality at all. Like everyone just like, I always ask people how long you're going to work here for. And everyone just like, 20 years. Obviously we get all those benefits and stuff like that. But it's like, I do not want to be this at all for like.
I give you guys I give you nurses a lot of credit. Like you guys do all the dirty stuff. You guys see death every day. I'm like, I don't know if I would be able to do this day in, day out. Like you basically go to work every single day, not only to save lives, but also you're witnessing like just not the best environment, dude.
Yeah.
Like, dude, people don't go to the hospital because they feel good.
Yeah.
They go to the hospital because they feel shitty. They're sick. And then that's what you got to see all the time.
Yeah,
like,
they
we're
get
not.
the worst of it because they get it from the top. They get it from their, the people they're helping. They get it from doctors.
And the thing is that they're high earners, but then what happens is that I think because of the amount of stress, this is what I see with a lot of nurses. Because of the amount of stress that they have to deal with, they go and they blow the money on vacations and stuff.
Yep.
And so what happens is you're never able to set aside enough of a nest egg to start investing. They obviously start buying homes and stuff like that, but your home is also not an investment. It's a liability until you rent it out, right? So, I mean, I hope your audience is listening, man. Like, just
There's a lot of burnout.
I know.
A lot of burnout. That's why I'm always asking people, what's next? And people don't. There's not a lot of people who have the financial literacy, like even just like having a high yield savings account. A lot of people don't know that. So I'm always trying to put people on to different books, different podcasts, the Lowdown, the Winners Club. So yeah, that's one thing I'm trying to do. Well, how did you guys link up? And did you know each other beforehand?
Shoot.
Yeah, he's known me
That
forever.
was
really?
a decade ago, right? I don't even know when I first met Brian at like a DMB when he was dating his now wife.
Yeah. Because our
Back then,
wives
girlfriends,
were friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I know Ray, I think 10 years.
Okay.
And then he's probably seen me grow the most because he's been around for the longest.
Mm-hmm.
I think I met you when you were still in college. He was just about to graduate. He couldn't even drink at the time.
No, not that long ago.
Yeah, that long ago.
Okay, sure. I don't know.
So you're older.
Bro. Yeah, I'm definitely
Ray's like
older than
50.
him.
Well, that's how all Asians
Bro.
look. We look the same age
Nah,
forever,
we do.
and then one day you just like look 90.
So I'm 30. It couldn't have been. I was drinking because I'm 33.
You were
I'm turning
drinking, just not
33.
legally.
I'm turning 33. Maybe. Well, anyways, long story.
Yeah.
So my wife and his wife, they're business partners now.
Okay.
And so I would go over Ray's house because we would do all this stuff and hang out. And I would always tell Ray, I'm like, dude, you gotta do something else, bro.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you're doing. I'm like, hey, just do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like this engineer stuff isn't gonna be great forever. Like you gotta make more.
Yeah.
Because if you work a job, that's all you're gonna get. Like
For sure.
100-some thousand or whatever it is. That's it.
And then you get taxed.
Yeah.
You never.
I've told this story before. He actually he called me one of those nights just like randomly.
Oh, yeah.
After one of like the girls met up and then we saw each other and he was like, hey, you ever heard of drop shipping? I was just like, no, not really. But it was like the biggest thing at the time. And he was just like, yeah, we should do it. I was like, nah, I'm cool with my job. I don't need more work to do after I get off work.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, nah.
So were you a dream killer and did you not do it?
No, I didn't do drop
He
shipping.
needed
no.
someone else to, basically manage it, right?
Yeah.
It's
I got money. I just need I need
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the thing. It's like now it's what I do is I look for leaders. I look for people that have the skills, and then they can execute the vision,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And then that's how I have all the companies that we have. There's no possible way I can run all of them.
Right.
My thing is, I know what we need to do. I know what we're going. I just need somebody to drive the car.
Yeah, you're the visionary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll fund it. Like most of the time, I'm like, dude, no problem. We'll fund it. Like, that's the cool part.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that, because a lot of people, myself included, have trouble finding mentors, and I feel like that's a really big thing to do in the beginning. So obviously you guys knew each other beforehand, but what advice would you give to people who maybe don't have someone like that?
Go into the right rooms. I mean, like, go to the events. We hold these Flip to Riches event all the time, and it's not like, okay, you're going to go there to try to get me as your mentor, but there are people in that room, like-minded, that may be ahead of you that can help you.
Mm-hmm.
And so most people always say, I want this, I want that, but they don't actually go where that is. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be a real estate investor? You're not going to learn it at home.
Yeah.
You got to go to a real estate meetup. And that's where you're going to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people that will get you there.
Yeah.
It's always what they say. It's like, it's the who, not the how. And that's what they mean by that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Get around the right environment. And like I said, that's why Brian invited me to the office, because he knew, like, if I just stayed at home, I wouldn't be doing jack shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, maybe searching MLS for some fixers, but really not making any deals happen.
Yeah.
So it really helped that. And it was inspiring to see everybody in real estate doing it and doing it big and doing it right and putting in the work. Because if I didn't see, let's say, Randy Garcia door knocking and calling people, then I probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely agree for sure.
I don't know why Ray didn't start earlier, dude. Like, come on. Like, I mean, at one point, I tell this story. I'm like, dude, you saw me 27. I had a Ferrari. I had all the toys, right? And I'm like, Ray, start a business. Nah, I like my little Honda.
You don't know, but
That's crazy, right?
when I saw the Ferrari, I could have just been like, okay, now I need to start getting there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just going to happen overnight, right? I had to plan ahead. See, that's why we work well together. I'm the analyst. He's the
balance each other.
right?
Yeah.
I just do shit.
Yeah. So he gives me the idea. I'm like, let's think about this. Let's weigh out the pros and cons first. I mean, I'm not saying he's like an idiot, or he's got great business acumen and he's got great ideas.
Yeah.
But of course,
now,
you gotta weigh out everything
Totally.
and kind of think it through a little bit.
sometimes.
Yeah. I think a lot of people just have, like myself included, when I first started, is that little bit of imposter syndrome that people kind of have, So it's like, obviously I was starting off as a nurse, and I was like, how can I really do all this different stuff? Because obviously this is the only thing that I'm used to, is doing the nursing thing. And so I agree that getting in those rooms, getting surrounded by those people where your hard is their easy, I think that's just the biggest thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Exactly.
So maybe we can start going into your flipping business. Where are you guys at right now? How many flips do you guys do a year?
We got like 5 to 10 a year.
Yeah, what are we at this year? Okay, let's do this year. We did Madrid, Alta Vista,
Longford.
Red Rock, Longford, Avalon,
Did you say Hillside?
Oakland, Hillside.
Too many to count.
I think he's right.
I think-
9 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
9 to 10.
What's the spread on all of them, or what are you expected to make on the flipping business this year?
We average about 12% of the ARV. So of all those, it'll probably be about $1.2 million.
And it could fluctuate a lot.
Totally.
Right? If we're direct to seller and we're the only ones, we could smack them over the head, get a home run, right? It could be, so I would say anywhere from like 100 to 300,000.
So yeah, I mean, the goal is always like 10 to 12%, but obviously like Hillside was a 20% return.
Yeah.
Oakland might be a 5% return. So then I would say just take the average. About what we do about 12%.
Oakland definitely took a hit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now the golden question: where do you find your leads?
So that's where Ray comes in handy. So when we built when we built this company out, we did it like, we try to mimic like a real company, right? So Ray is the CEO of the flipping side. And then underneath Ray, we have 2 full-time VAs that cold call all the time. And then we got 2 interns. We have 2 agents that look for and scour all the MLS deals. Ray is still kind of CEO, but he is also still on the acquisition team. And then he still has to kind of do everything because we're, again, building it out.
Yeah.
And then Dispo is kind of like everybody too, because we actually have the brokerage.
Yeah.
And so dispo gets kind of easy because then you just go outdoor, you open that door, and you go, hey guys, we got this deal. Like, who has a buyer? And then let it go crazy. Yeah.
Not only that, with dispo, since we're doing cold calls, we actually have the cold callers calling realtors right now, and they're reaching out to like thousands of them. So if anybody has a buyer, like, it's easy to just put it out there and just say, hey, like, you guys got anyone for this? If we don't want to take it on, we could just say, hey, here's our fee, just take it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's still a good deal for your buyer.
Yeah. So you primarily calling realtors, or are you calling just like the homeowners directly?
Everybody.
Everyone?
Everybody and their mom. So basically we can pull lists of just geographic lists, right? Let's just say we want to hit Daly City. If we have just single families we're looking for, 3-bedroom, whatever, we'll call those lists. We'll just get creative and see what kind of new creative lists that we could come up with to find those buyers or find those sellers.
Social media helps.
Yeah, we've got social media going on right now. Facebook
events.
ads. Dude, we're hitting all avenues, basically. Pay per lead. We've got mailers going out soon again. We're doing everything we can and everything a realtor or any kind of real estate investor should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I definitely think you got to do all these different marketing channels. And I think one thing that I'm struggling with right now is because I'm a solopreneur. I'm doing everything myself. And so my biggest thing right now is just trying to figure out, how do I manage my time? Because I still work in the hospital 2-3 days a week. And right now I'm cold calling myself also. So now that's what I told you earlier. I think I'm going to start trying to hire a cold caller, because there's no way that me doing 4 hours a week is going to do anything. Like, it's going to take me forever to get a deal doing cold calling like that. So that's why I was thinking about hiring a VA. But
I would say for you, I don't know what your financials look like, right? Because cash flow is going to be very important for you.
Yeah.
Hiring staff costs money.
Totally.
But I think if you can dedicate your time to, like, hey, on these days I prospect, on these days I'm out networking with realtors, on these days I'm going to events, to JV deals, I think those are a little bit going to be faster. Because even through our experience with our cold callers, it takes like 6 months sometimes.
Their conversions are low
Because our market's tough. We're calling in a very competitive area, but also very smart sellers.
Yeah.
That, you know,
and they're getting these calls like
all the time.
nonstop.
Right?
Yeah.
And as soon as they hear an accent, they're like, nah, you're a scam. Forget it. Right. So
it still works though.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got Foster City.
we got some deals.
They've already paid for themselves.
Yeah.
But they're not the highest yield.
Yeah.
I think where we get most of our deals are really realtor outreach.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. Like, which marketing channel do you think brings the highest return?
Our Flip to Riches event this year, hands down, has probably been the best.
Yeah. Social media.
Social media. That's why you see me posting nonstop 2-3 times a day on all platforms. I'm trying to get ready to post more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bad at that.
We got to get, because then that's what it is. Like, a post is free, right?
Yeah.
And also the reach is 10 times better than calling.
For sure.
Exactly.
My thing is doing about, between all channels, a month now, we're doing 4 million views.
God damn.
Right? How the hell can I talk to 4 million people?
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm like, and that didn't happen overnight either, but still, like, you got to just keep getting on social media, tell the world what you want. And I think you'll get better results that way.
Yeah, that's what I tell everyone also. A lot of people are always like, I want to wait till I have a deal first or whatever. But I'm like, I think when you're showing the day-to-day stuff, that also makes it a lot more relatable, because you're showing the grind, and it's a lot more relatable, like I said. And I think that social media is just like the best free marketing for yourself, builds trust with people. And just like you said, it's just easier to reach people at a much larger scale, because instead of having one conversation like we are right now for 1 hour, we could potentially reach like hundreds, if not thousands of people.
Yep.
And it honestly makes like the people you know have more confidence in what you're doing, right? Because I remember back then when I just started, they're just like, this guy's not going to do anything in real estate. He's just posting like stuff on social media. He doesn't do any deals yet. And, you know, once you put the time in and you've actually started a deal, like, it completely changes people's minds. And even my own parents, who were doubting me at first, are like, oh, dang, okay, so he can make it just doing this. He can make it just door knocking or calling people every day. So
yeah, that's how everyone felt with me in the beginning too. Like, I definitely tend to bounce around a lot of times doing different things. And my wife at first was like, maybe this is just a fad. And then I joined a coaching program, and she's like, oh, shit, he's actually kind of serious. And then I did my first flip, and now she's like, oh, he's really, really serious.
Yeah.
So now she's just like,
There you go.
start making it so you start buying me purses.
Yeah. Question: When you dropped that money, what did she say?
On the coaching
Like
program?
the coaching program, because I mean, you guys have a shared account, or is your money, her money's her money?
We have everything separate right now.
Okay, cool. Because I do the same. But
No, I mean, she was
But
at
she didn't
first.
care?
I mean, at first she was like, "Are you sure that's a good idea right now?" Blah blah blah. I mean, just like everyone's kind of
Yeah.
having doubt. I mean, they have confidence in your ability, obviously, but they're still just like, "Are you sure you're making the right decision?"
Yeah.
And so that's just something that I heard from many different people. But now she's very supportive. My family's very supportive.
love it.
So yeah,
And it's not a slight to you or me that they're thinking that way. They're just having those doubts because they want to protect you or whatever. So it's coming from a good place.
yeah,
And honestly, it made me like work even harder, right? I'm sure you felt the same way.
Totally.
Like, oh yeah, you don't think I can do that?
Yeah.
All right,
That's
let's see.
usually how it
Let's see
drives
how
me.
this
yeah,
goes.
yeah. When you
Don't ever challenge me.
when you get those haters, it puts a fire under your butt for sure.
Oh, dude, I
So
love it.
it's a good thing. I mean, and it's good that you're reacting that way, right? Because now you're in that state of mind of an entrepreneur because you're competing, but silently with yourself.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to make that jump from quitting your job? Because that's something where I'm at right now at a crossroad where I'm only working 2 days a week.
Yeah.
It's very flexible and awesome, but I'm definitely like counting the fucking days till I can quit.
Honestly, if you're working 2 days a week, you're solid. I would keep that job. You don't have, dude. That's great. Like money coming in. I'm like you'll be comfortable. And honestly, I could have probably kept my job.
Mm-hmm.
No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. I'm gonna tell you why you couldn't.
Why?
Because your mindset. You needed to let go
Yeah.
so that the new mindset could form. But if you would have kept your job,
And
you would have been.
I might have
complacent.
stayed there.
You would have been lazy. Yeah. for
And
sure.
honestly, like that's probably what kept me comfortable. So you're probably right.
Yeah, you had no pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're working 2 days and I don't know, I assume you're getting paid a lot as
Yeah, maybe like
at your job.
200.
Yeah. So that's
Working
pretty
2
good.
days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What in the
Bro, I
world?
wouldn't keep that. You wouldn't keep that?
I don't know. I mean, it depends.
I don't know. Everyone I hear is just like you got to go all in to do really well, and those that are most successful.
200,000 just working 2 days. What kind of nurse are you? Like for Beverly Hills? That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
Why
the
wouldn't
highest
you?
level nurse that I could be at that job. So it's like different clinical ladder, right? So I'm a nurse 4. So that's the highest one you can have.
Yeah.
And then I figured out the way to make the most money. So like when you work off shifts, like I do, you get paid a differential. And so if you work 7 to 7, you get paid one rate. If you work 9 to 9, you get paid a little bit more. And so 9 to 9 is the one that gets paid the most. And then I still do like on call stuff like that. So like sometimes I have to be available for any surgeries because I work in the operating room. And so I just try and maximize as much as I can for the time that I have there, if that makes sense. But,
Yeah. No, that's cool.
I think you're making it work. I mean, the only thing you're attending events too, right?
Mhm.
Real estate events and networking.
Yeah, keep that
We're talking
W2
on this
job. I mean,
podcast, so
honestly.
it's like, I
Pretty
don't see why
flexible.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm struggling because there's just so many different things that pull me in different directions. I think if I just focus on one, that's what I think I'll have the most success. But I know for sure the podcast is definitely something I really have to do because that's just the best way to network and meet people. And then the flipping thing and the wholesaling.
Yeah.
But for sure, if you really want the pressure, quit your job.
Yeah.
That'll give you a whole lot of reason to get to work.
So when did you quit your job? Did you
February.
save up a nest egg beforehand?
Yeah, I definitely.
How much
saved
did you
up a
save up?
runway. I would say I built up a runway of about a year, so about like 100,000 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, hey, if I don't find something within a year, if I don't get a deal done, like, I could always go back,
Yeah.
but at least I have a good year to really give it a good shot.
Mm-hmm. And how long
So-
did it take before you actually started that? You had that like aha moment when you quit.
Jeez,
Like,
that's
oh
hard
shit,
to
I'm
tell.
never going back.
Yeah, because Roseanne did not give you confidence.
No.
You were still so scared of that one.
But I already had a deal in line.
Yeah.
That
And
was
then,
a home
and then
run.
that was gateway.
So I was just like, okay, I could see the light at the end of the tunnel already
Mm-hmm.
after like 4 or 5 months in. So I was good.
So what was your first deal after quitting? Can you tell me about
It
it?
was just Pittsburgh with him because a realtor had brought him the deal.
Yep.
Out in Pittsburgh. And when I saw it, I was just like, this is not a deal. And I was just like, estimating the budget to be double what it is and whatever, and it just didn't pan out for me. But thanks to Brian, we just jumped into it, and good thing we did, because it was, again, proof of concept.
Yeah,
like we could make this work no matter what, even if it wasn't
cheap,
that great
bro.
of a deal.
It was like 350 grand. I remember it's on YouTube. You could find the show.
Yeah.
That's why I love everything. I got videographers that film everything. I remember literally in the backseat of the car, I said, "We're buying this we're popping your cherry, Ray. I'm gonna get great content." I knew going in I wasn't gonna make like as much money. It's far, it's an hour away, but sometimes I'm like, that's why you need somebody like me, because I really don't give two Fs. Like, I'm like, dude, we'll make 50 grand. I think when we did the math, it was like 75 grand or something like that. I was like, I wouldn't touch a deal like that today. But I'm like, it's his first. Yeah. We got money in the bank. Go buy it. You know what I mean? And let's test all these different models. Like we had free model to do the renovation, so we didn't have to put out any money. They paid for it, and then you pay them back in escrow. And then we just shot a bunch of content. He was all scared and shit.
It was really funny. Was free model under budgeted, and then tried to ask us for more money, and I was just like,
"Nah, you signed the contract.
That's on you guys. You guys signed it for like, what was it?
75,000 all in, new roof, the whole shebang.
I think it was less,
something like that. I think it was like,
it was lower than your estimate. That's how low it was.
Something like that. And we were like, okay, do it.
Sure. If you think you can do it, do it.
So we didn't make that much. We made like 50-something thousand, 60-something.
That's a win for me.
Shoot, I want to say less.
I want to say less, but it didn't matter. Like,
but it didn't matter,
It was
right?
hella funny.
Yeah.
I had like, the thing
it was
with me,
a lot of fun.
It was hella, it's just
we
fun.
would be like driving back and forth. I mean, it wasn't that many times, but every time we drove back and forth, we would just have a ball, because we would just be cracking jokes in the car, going there, making fun of each other. And
so realistically, it was like 40, 50 grand, something like that. We have it in Excel. We can go back and look it up. But it was like 40, 50,000, but we went out there like 4 times. And of the 4, like 2 times out of the 4 was because we had to shoot content.
Yeah.
Like for the show. We have a Flip to Riches show. So then it was like, screw it. It was great.
Yeah.
Not only that, it translated into, I guess, a better relationship between the team.
Because it's like one thing, you'll know when things go bad if you have a good team or not. And at least in our team, like when things go bad, nobody blames nothing. And if we got to take a hit, we take a hit. And because obviously we did one in Daly City shortly after that one. And it was like a quick turnaround. We got that thing back on the market in like 2 weeks.
Less than a month, yeah.
And then we were supposed to make like 100-something thousand. We ended up only making like 40, 50 grand.
Yeah.
Because the market, that was when the rates were up. Everybody was just going crazy.
It was a November, December market.
Yep. And we were happy. We were like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. That's how I felt with my first deal. I mean, I always went in with the mentality of like, if I make money on the first one, cool. But like the biggest thing for me was just going through it. If I break even, that's also cool, because to me, this is the education. School of Hard Knocks, it's better than anything I'll ever learn from reading a book. Like there's nothing that prepares you, because like everything that could have went wrong with my flip went wrong, honestly. And so I definitely feel like I have thicker skin. I lost 30,000, but now I'm in my next one.
Did you ask for any advice before you went into it? You just went into it?
I mean, I was in a coaching program, like I said, and so I bounced ideas off people, but I think there's just so many different things that went wrong that I didn't have control over. And so I think that's where I was proud of myself, because I know a lot of people get worked up and then they would like never do one again. And so for me, I was like, I know that a lot of this I can't control, and so I'm just going to focus on how I can react to it. And like for me, I knew that going through litigation and all that stuff was not going to be something for me. Like I would not be able to focus on anything else. And so I was like, I'd rather just like take an L on it, take my lessons, reflect on it, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, write it off on your taxes.
Right on.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah, thank you. So how do you guys decide what's a good flip, or like what's worthy of your time and effort or not?
Got a handy dandy calculator.
Okay, so, but in short, I mean, we follow an Excel, but our buy box is this, and it might change this year because the economy is looking good, but the last 2 years has been very shaky in the sense of interest rates were unpredictable, economy was unpredictable, and so we wanted to buy projects that were turnkey, like people call it level 2, but basically just kitchen, bathroom, paint, get it back on the market. So buy box is we got to make 10% at least of the ARV on a project that will take no longer than 6 months. From the day we buy the property to the day we sell it to the new buyers, no longer than 6 months. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Super
Cosmetic.
So if it's $1 million, ARV, we got to make $100,000 under 6 months.
No layout changes. No no expanding beyond the envelope.
Yeah. Do you guys get permits every time?
Sometimes. Just depends on the location.
Who's asking? Yes.
Just depends.
Yeah.
We disclose it. So it's like, it is
yeah.
what it is. But like some of the stuff out in the deep East Bay, we notice that it doesn't really affect value, but stuff here in Daly City and stuff like that, you got to get permits.
Yeah.
So just,
If you got nosy neighbors, get permits.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every property is a little bit different. Every property, you got to kind of change the strategy a little bit. But at least with our buy box, it's like, you know that you're going to get a deal.
Yeah.
Like safer.
Yeah.
We don't chase. We don't speculate. I think that's where people kind of get caught.
Yeah.
In flipping is
Yeah.
that they're like, oh, I think the market's going to do better. Like obviously this year they're going to be like, they're buying things right now, right? And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I think next year the market's going to do 10% better.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You know?
It all has to make sense on the numbers in that moment, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the deals are in the buy,
Mhm.
right? You make your money on the buy,
Mhm.
not the sell.
Yeah.
And so if you buy right, you're always going to be okay.
What areas in the Bay Area do you think do the best?
Oh man, San Jose,
In
Peninsula.
the Peninsula.
Anything Peninsula?
Yeah.
Will you guys touch anything in Oakland?
We have one now,
We
and
have
that's the
one
one
in
that we're
Oakland.
kind of worried about.
Yeah. We already got called for violations, for things like that, complaints. And these guys were like the friendliest when we first got there. And I think that's a red flag now.
Mhm.
Once you see friendly neighbors talking to everybody and, talking amongst each other, watch out, because they're the ones who are going to call the city and complain.
I mean, but that comes with like flipping. But I think the
Yeah.
main problem with Oakland right now is that Oakland is so sensitive to anything regarding like the news. Like if interest rate goes up, Oakland takes a hit.
Mhm.
Crime hits, Oakland takes a hit. Like it's not sheltered as much as some of the other neighborhoods that we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like right now, I don't know. I think we might make 80 grand
Might
for
make 80
freaking.
grand or break even.
Yeah, I know. Shoot, dude, because the
It's that
market's
big of a
the
swing.
market's dropping.
Yeah.
Like we're noticing the homes on the market, they're not moving.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, well, the only way you can get a property to move is if you price it lower. So if we price it lower, there goes our profit.
Which is hella funny because everybody was saying, oh, rates are dropping. And as soon as it dropped, it went back up. And then
Yeah.
we're all in the same boat. So no matter what anybody tells you, don't listen to them because they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I can predict that a rate's going to drop. A rate drop is coming. And even if the federal, chairman says it will, it could end up not.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. What's one flip that comes to mind? Whether it's biggest win, biggest loss, biggest learning lesson, your favorite flip. What one flip that comes to mind?
Gateway, because it was
Yeah.
the first and it was his biggest.
That was my first biggest one.
What was the numbers on that? What were the
We
details?
got it.
425 purchase, 200 in,
Yeah, 630. Sold for 1.3.
1.325 or something like that. Yeah.
So that was a
What was net
big
to you
one.
for that one?
Net?
Yeah.
3 something each,
Yeah.
350, 3 something each.
Damn.
So honestly, yeah.
Honestly, that was
Total,
big.
it was
Don't get me wrong, I love those, but
million.
I was kind of used to it because that was not my biggest ones. Like I have couple ones that were like 350, 375. This was when SF was just booming. And so, but I don't get me wrong, I love it, but it's like, man, it used to be like that more often, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I think we're just in a weird cycle right now. I think
Yeah.
it'll come back to it.
It
It's,
used to
it's
be
always
like-
a predictive cycle.
Like all of our flips used to be like 300,000-400,000.
Yeah.
Back like 17, 18. Those were like the best days to flip.
Yeah. Well, I think if you can find a way to make it work now, you're gonna fucking crush it when
Yeah,
everything's
for
back to
sure.
normal. So that's just
Sure.
one thing I'm telling myself.
But
If
what's
you learn
really interesting about that one was it was off a cold call. And that really was another proof of concept.
It was from
right?
a bird dog
Yeah.
to a cold call to a site visit.
Yeah.
And Ray just knocked it out the
That's right.
park.
you were cold calling yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, I was just like you, starting off, making lists, calling people, finding ugly houses, driving for dollars, doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got kind of that somewhat mastered and, to a point where I could train someone, that's when we hired VAs to cold call. And then I could like monitor them, check the recordings, make sure they're doing a good job. And then maybe focus on other things like mailers or door knocking, anything I could do on my end to support or complement the cold calling.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And then for those listening too, like, obviously you heard us, all our channels, right? Don't let that overwhelm you because we started off just like you.
Yeah.
One just calling, okay, and then we got some interns, we door knocked together, and then all that stuff. But what we did was that as we mastered one, as we started making more money, we reinvested back into the business. We are very good at taking 30%, right? And just taking that and putting it into the business.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to ask you when we start talking about the businesses, but how do you balance whether to invest or reinvest the money into the business versus taking it home to yourself?
There's a book called Profit First. I think that everybody should read it. So the book itself basically summarizes it is you open up 5 accounts, income in, taxes, fund money, and then investments, right? If you do that from the get-go, you get very good at just knowing where the money goes before you get it.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, obviously, you're flipping, right? You make like 300, 400 grand. You're like, shit, I'm going to go buy a Lambo. Yeah. But that's not what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You take it, you already divide everything up into percentages, and then that's what it is. That's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
So honestly, you could treat it like a rental property, right? You always have some sort of reserve to just in case. You know, with flipping, there's a lot of risk. So there's a high chance something could go wrong. So you want to have that ready to go.
Yeah. What was the biggest piece of advice you'd give to someone who wants to maybe get started in flipping?
Get a mentor. Get around the people that have done it.
Yeah.
Come to our events. Go to any event, honestly. It doesn't even have to be Flip to Riches. Just get with people who are doing it so you could see how they're doing it, what's their process. You can ask questions. People will give you all those answers for free.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for mentorship, but if you want to pay for someone to hold your hand, great. Yeah, do that if you have the ability to do so.
Yeah.
Partnerships are better than coaching.
Definitely.
Because then now they got skin in the game. Like a coach, sure, they'll tell you what to do, but they're not going to be in the deal with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I think if it's your first one, you should have a partner that knows what the hell they're doing.
Yeah. How do you find a good partner, though? Because I feel like with partnerships, it's a lot like dating, right? So you have to, like, make sure that you guys really complement each other's skill sets, you're trustworthy, and all that
Sure,
stuff.
and sometimes, you know what? After everything, you got to just take blind faith and try it out,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's what I found. It's a lot of blind faith. Like, let's just say, because I want to start JVing with more people, right? Yeah. A lot of the time, they're newer. I have never worked with them. I barely know them. I just met them at an event, and suddenly I want to JV with them just because maybe they have a deal that we should work together on. Mm-hmm. It is faith, right? It is trust and having that, just trusting that they have good intentions.
Yeah.
You can't work with anyone unless you have that initially.
Totally.
Right?
There's some things you can do, like we control the money.
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously I'm not going to screw anybody over. We have a physical office. I got multiple businesses. I got a reputation. And so when we JV, I'm the one dealing with the money.
Yeah.
Because I know I can trust myself to do the right thing. And also we always make sure that we hold title. So there's certain things
you can do.
You can do to prevent it.
Yeah.
Like even all our partners, they don't own the property. We own the property. We have a promissory note with them, but they can trust I'm gonna do the right thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if we put it under your name and somebody else's name, it's gonna be a whole different problem.
So
you know
are those partners all like LPs, like just like passive investors?
No, I mean it depends on how involved they want to be.
Yeah.
So like Miguel, right? He's done 2 flips with us this year. He's probably made like 60, 70 grand already, right? He put out no money. He found the deal. Again, put out no money. And then he got to learn hands-on. This is what we pick. This is how we do it. This is the process. This is how you get the bids. This is how you talk to the contractor. And so he got to earn and learn at the same time.
Yeah. One thing I love about you guys is you guys definitely give off that abundance mindset. I think a lot of people kind of have that scarcity mindset where they're just like, I'm going to keep everything to myself. Where the first impression I get from you guys give unconditionally. And I think that's the most important thing is like, if you want to go far, you got to do it with other people. And I think in real estate, especially here in the Bay Area, there's enough money to be made for everyone.
Yeah.
And so I think
generous.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I see you guys having so much success in. So
that's why we have so much more fun.
Yeah.
This business can be lonely.
Yeah.
Right. But that's why I said, knock on wood, we haven't lost money. But if we did lose money, I bet you we laugh about it. We probably wouldn't cry. But if you lose by yourself, sometimes you're like, man, like it hits different.
Mm-hmm.
But here we can snap out of it quick.
Yeah.
And the generosity brings a lot of good people, right?
Oh yeah.
They're of the same mind. They're not hella greedy, and they're willing to, I guess, learn and are moldable, just like Miguel, right? Honestly, if we didn't because we talked to him so much, and he came to our events so much, like we kind of already knew what kind of person he was.
Yep.
So it wasn't too much of a blind like faith jump. because we knew how he was and we knew he was teachable.
Yeah, he's showing up to everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I love it. Well, you guys obviously have a very profitable fix and flip business and all that stuff. Can we go into a little bit about your other businesses?
Ask away.
All right, so you got a coffee business, you got a fix and flip business, you got a brokerage. What other businesses you have?
So a lot of the businesses are ancillary businesses of each other, right? So we have the brokerage, which is the machine. That actually drives a lot of deals, but also it saves us 5% when we buy and sell these properties, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we list it, we buy it sometimes. It's a easy on $1 million purchase, you save 50 grand.
Yeah.
That's why you have the brokerage. The brokerage also has like 35, 40 agents now where they're constantly looking for deals for us. And they can JV it with us if they want, or if they could just get cashed out, whatever. Then we have, that complements the flipping business because it's all real estate.
Yeah.
Then the flipping, we make so much money from it that we then go buy properties for rentals. Ray didn't want to buy rentals. I made him buy it. He still,
I didn't want to.
he like,
Okay. Make this clear. Let's make this clear. I didn't like Montgomery because it was kind of hood. But I'm all for passive income and rentals. Let's make that clear.
He wants like a nice neighborhood
Yeah.
and high cash flow and high appreciation. I said, you
Yes.
can only pick two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
And I said, you know what? That's the beautiful thing. We had to save taxes. We took $300,000. We bought 3 properties cash. We're refinancing those properties out today to buy 5 more. But it's all part of the plan. Sometimes they don't see the plan.
Yeah.
They don't see the plan sometimes. And sometimes if I tell them all that, they're like, nah, you know? Just trust me, man. I got this. And then so we got the out of state. So those are the 3. Then we got the property management because obviously we help people buy and sell that they need property management. So we have property management as well.
Mm-hmm.
They all feed the machine, right?
Exactly. The cold callers, any leads that we can't, like, if they don't want to accept a cash offer, realtor referral. Or,
We have
hey,
we have
I want to keep the property management. Yeah.
It's all vertically integrated.
Yep. And then from that, which isn't really real estate, but we have a media company that only works with realtors. And so, the primary business is with realtors. So they do listing photos, listing videos, floor plans, and then events, shooting.
Mm.
And so that's run by my cousin Jonathan, who was my intern before PJ. So you see how it is? I just find people, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? You're very good at this. You're not going to work for me forever. You're going to work with me now, and we're going to build this company, and that company does very well.
Yeah.
And he does very well now.
Do you think that people are just like born with that innate ability to be a visionary, or is that something you can learn? Because obviously it's an extremely important skill, and I think that every company needs to have that. And so, is that something that you just think you just came with, or?
I think it was partly came with it, partly developed. So I don't. Yeah, I didn't really think about that, but I think it was kind of in me. But then I just started to develop it, and then test out the theory. Take this person, grow it, build it. Did it work? Great, it worked. Okay, now do it again, and do it again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm like, okay, that's my talent, and that's all I want to do.
I think you can actually trace it back to your upbringing too, right? Because if you were challenged a lot as a kid, you had to get creative, and come up with different ideas of how to solve things, right? For me, a lot of stuff, I'll admit it, it was handed to me. My parents worked really hard, paid everything off for me, like took care of my car, my first car, took care of my schooling.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have to worry about a thing.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to like develop that kind of problem solving knack like Brian does.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I've always liked nice stuff, so I always have to figure out like how to get it.
Yeah.
So then going back, so we got the media company, then we got the 3 coffee shops, we got the Boba shop. Those are all kind of random, but they do pretty well. They're like, I opened them originally because when I was selling real estate, even though I had big months where I made 70, 80 grand in commission, I never felt more broke because it's like you always have to find the next deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I just need something that just pays my rent and my car, you know? And so I was like, if I can open up one coffee shop and it makes $5,000 a month positive cash flow, like I'd be so happy. And then obviously you just keep opening them along the way. But I'm done with brick and mortars. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah. What were some of the biggest challenges that you had, like scaling up? Because I think that people scale up too early. I feel like that's a thing I hear a lot. And so, what was some of the biggest challenges you faced? Was it capital?
I mean, it's always going to be time, right? The bandwidth, and then it's going to be capital, of course. Like those are the 2 things. But also knowing to kind of do it more organically. slowing down. I mean, we could have opened up 5 coffee shops at one time if we wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been the type to where it's like, hey, we should just do it slow and steady, make sure it's actually good before you go and open up a bunch. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Montgomery, Alabama. Like, I own properties here in the Bay, and so I don't mind buying a lot here because I have the systems, I have the people. But even in Montgomery, I'm like, we could have bought 10. We could have bought a whole portfolio for like $3 million, whatever. But I'm like, that's dangerous because now it's like the amount gets larger, the risk gets higher. Let's just buy 3. When they're all rented out, we'll buy the next 2, and then we won't buy another until those are rented out and paying. But you see how like this year we did it really slow. But I think when you do it that way, it becomes much more secure. You're really laying down good, strong foundations.
Yeah.
But the problem is you go and you hear these other coaching companies and they're like, well, you got 100 unit, 300 unit. And you're like, I want to go faster. I should be there too. But you got to know when to like slow down and when to speed up.
Yeah. Do you have so are you just completely out of the, I guess, like CEO thing? Are you just like the owner now or for all the different things? Or do you have like a CEO for every different one?
Usually have a CEO for everything.
Okay.
So that like you have to look at it from like you have to become the chairman of the board.
Yeah.
And then let the people do what they need to do.
How many hours would you say you spend on each business, like a week?
The coffee shop, maybe 30 minutes a week.
That's when you're drinking the coffee.
Barely. I don't even go to the stores.
I know. I probably go to the stores more than
He probably goes to the, yeah. I don't even go to the
Is
stores.
it this one, Sunset Drip?
No, those are our partners. So
okay.
shout out to them. And if you guys never had it, they're in like 30 something locations now.
Okay.
But yeah, very little because the CEOs and whoever the owners of that company, they run it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say most of my time now is spent with 50 Hills and the flipping.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 2 biggest ones.
Yeah.
Because actually I thoroughly enjoy it. I love it. Like our team is so fun, man. Like we're like the selling sunset of the freaking NorCal.
We need to start the filming of it. What are we gonna call it?
So I mean, but that took time.
Yeah.
That took time. And before then, like before having kids, I worked a lot. I worked 14, 15 hours.
Yeah.
I would just keep a suit in my car. I'd work at the coffee shop. I do the front desk thing, like taking orders and stuff. And then I got a showing. I got to put on a suit and I would go do showings.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like you got kids. I got to be a little bit more strategic and smarter with my time. And so if it doesn't make me a certain amount, I don't do it.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to ask. Is I'm sure you presented opportunities all the time. How do you decide what's a good one to take on?
It's usually got to be first. It's got to be something that I can add value. Otherwise, it's why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
Second thing has got to be okay. What's the return? Because obviously it's a business, and business is all about money. So, and then the third is just like, do I even like the person that I'm presented with?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of fake guys out there.
Yeah.
Thanks. You like me.
I bought a house for you, bro. I told you, Roseanne. Dropped $350,000.
Damn. It's amazing.
And the cool thing is because we loan, and that's why it's like when you have money, it gets more fun. Mm-hmm. If you know how to do it correctly. Mm-hmm. Like you can. I tell these guys all the time, like, nah, don't worry, I can cover it. If shit really hits the fan, we're good for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, and that sometimes like what you need. I wish I had that because then I would have been way more risky with some of the stuff early on in my career, but I couldn't because, I don't have nobody to back me up. Mm-hmm. But this office, this team, they got me. I got it to back it up. Like, and that's why I go out there and go be more risky. Go buy the Vallejo deal where we might only make 40, 50 grand, but screw it. It'll keep the team busy. And then, maybe whatever the 40, 50 grand will cover the office expenses,
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
What's the biggest piece of advice you'd give to someone who wants to start a business? Like what's the biggest learning lesson you've gotten from all these different businesses?
You're just going to have to do it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. It's going to be scary as shit. I've had a lot of nights where I've had anxiety and I couldn't sleep, right? Because there's a lot of problems happening. But you know what? Now there's no more anxiety. I don't know what happened. I think it's just like you get so good. You just get so strong. You build up that mental toughness that now I don't have any anxiety. Hell, somebody broke into my store like 3 times this year.
I saw that.
And I just look at it and I go back to sleep. I don't give 2 shits about even boarding it up sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I used to rush down there and, bring my drill, try to bring plywood and do it and secure the place. Now I'm like, man, I don't even give a damn.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe because you get older, you give less Fs, but that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
But it starts with one.
Yeah.
Just like the first flip, the first rental, the first business, and it's okay to fail. That's the best advice.
That's when you learn the most.
Yeah.
That's what
just
I learned.
don't give up.
Yeah.
You're only a loser and a failure if you give up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep going, like your flipping career is long. Even if you lose 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, as long as you did like 100, you're still at 96%. You know, like who cares?
Yeah. I think if you stay in the business long enough, you're going to have success. And I think a lot of people just quit too early, like you said. You just got to really commit to it and just know that things are going to go wrong, but that's how you learn. And when those things go wrong, it's like that's hard in the moment. And then the next one you do is a little bit harder. And just like all those different ones that started off in the beginning were just like easy. So like, for instance, like my flip, it was, everything went wrong. We like took it down to the studs and everything like that. And now I'm like, if I see the fire damaged house that I'm in contract for, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
If you were to get rid of all your businesses, which one would you keep?
The VA Hub.
VA Hub?
How dare you?
The VA Hub is the most scalable business, has the lowest overhead, highest margins. That's the one I keep. And you know why? I picked that over the flipping. Flipping makes a lot, don't get me wrong. But the VA Hub is a monthly residual company. Mm-hmm. Every month, your credit card renews, right? Like the customers get charged. And so, like, it's great. I don't have to keep hunting. As long as I just keep servicing the clients, making sure they're happy and they stay on. It's just like Netflix, right? They just keep watching it, and every month they just bill them.
Yeah. That's one thing I'm learning also is I read this book. I don't know if it was like Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time or another business book, but I'm really trying to focus my efforts and time on things that I know is scalable. So I don't even want to focus on anything that I know I can't scale.
Yep.
I agree.
Flipping is good. Don't get me wrong. Flipping is like it took, VA Hub is now approaching 8 years old, right? We started that back in 2017. So 8 years, right? That's why I'm like, you know, it didn't happen overnight. It cost money. And where do you think the money came from? It came from real estate commissions and flipping. But that's why it's like you make the money in flipping, you make the money wholesaling, but you always got to put it into other investments too.
Yeah. Do something for 3 to 5 years, get really good at it, and then diversify.
That's right. I won't hold it against you. Yeah. I won't hold it against you. I'd choose VA Hub too.
Ray, if you were to start a new business, I mean, I know you're tied into all these other things now, but if capital wasn't a thing, what business are you most interested in or starting?
Shoot. Oh man, that's tough. I'm really happy in real estate. I love the sales aspect, talking to people and closing on deals. So that's a tough one. I was thinking about e-commerce, but
yeah, you're not passionate about it.
Yeah, I'm not that passionate about it. I'm just looking at the
you'd probably do
things.
coffee. You probably roast beans.
Yeah, but that's not that scalable either. I mean,
it can be. I mean, if you get into like because that's the e-commerce. So as long as you build the brand
but honestly, I just like drinking it. I don't want to make it like that. I don't want to roast beans or like grow it and wash it and all that.
Yeah,
no, that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe some other product or.
Don't worry, Ray. That's why you got me. Let me figure out the idea.
Vision guy, yeah.
I come up with ideas. Otherwise, you ask Ray. Ray gonna be like,
Sure.
You know the crazy thing about Ray? Let me tell you guys something. Let me give you guys some back end. Ray, his wife is wonderful, but his wife used to run the relationship, and then Ray started coming here and working with obviously me and the fellas, and then now it's like. You know, Ray stands up to his wife. He talks back. She hates us, by the way. She hates, like, she loves me, but she hates me. She goes, "Oh my God, you took my husband. You changed him." She's not gonna watch this podcast anyways.
Have you seen that Key and Peele? I said, "Bitch."
Oh man, she's not gonna watch this podcast, Ray. You're good. You're safe. Don't worry.
I'm gonna show her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show her.
No.
Honestly, she wouldn't even care because she knows how Brian's been since the beginning, and that hasn't really changed much.
No. And that's another thing. Like, hey, you know what's crazy is that I think you should always embrace who you are, because all of a sudden, like you'll just attract the people that naturally like it, and the ones that don't like you, screw it. At least at least you don't have to be fake.
Yeah.
When I was a realtor, the hardest part about that job to me was that I had to put on like a face. You know, like I had to be somebody that was not really me, but I needed the money. So I mean, obviously, if a engineer comes in, I'm gonna be a little bit more serious. I'm gonna talk a little bit more numbers, but I'm like, dude. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
Now,
authentic.
I'm not gonna bend nothing for no one.
Yeah.
You know, and then you build your tribe that way.
But honestly, I think that works well for anyone to be able to like change your tone, change how you're speaking at like depending on the situation and depending on
Yeah,
your
yeah. I mean, I
audience,
still
right?
do that now, but
Yeah.
at least I'm not doing it every single
exactly.
day. You know, like if we're gonna go to a dinner, a nice high-end restaurant,
Yeah.
and there's gonna be like a charity gala, of course I'm not gonna be the dumb guy that I am. I'm gonna tone it down a little bit,
Exactly.
but for the most part,
Exactly.
you know, this is me.
Where do you guys see the real estate market heading? I guess going into there's a new president elected.
Yeah.
What's you guys' forecast?
It's
And
really interesting.
Lower interest rates.
Trump's a businessman, so I mean, if he's gonna do what he needs to do, I think we're gonna be really good. If he can do what he needs to do, because obviously there's checks and balance. But if he can go in there, I think he's gonna put some stuff in that's gonna help us out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But whether or not it's gonna pass is a different situation, and I think it's gonna take time.
Yeah.
Because he's running a big country, and it's not like automatically he comes in, he can just change all the rules. But if we get the federal rates down, that's going to do two things. That allows businesses to borrow money at a cheaper rate, which then allow them to grow. More job growth, which means people are going to make more, which means that people are going to be able to afford more. And if they can afford more, they're going to push up the prices of real estate.
Mm.
So it's going to be very good for us.
Yeah.
But in a down market, up market, we're always going to make money. That's the thing. You got to be like water, and you always got to just stick at it, but also be fluid in the approach, fluid in the exit, fluid in every aspect of the business. You know what I mean? That's why we made money when it was down. We made money when it was up. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You're going to have different problems, though. When the market picks up, right, there's going to be more realtors in the game again. There's going to be more flippers, more investors, and so there's just more competition. So it's going to be hard whether it's a good market or a bad market. But if you're good like us, man, we're always going to make money.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to say it. I was like,
Here's
screw it.
my prediction.
Yeah.
Interest rates are going to go down.
Yeah.
Builders are going to come off the sidelines.
Yeah.
We're going to have more housing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it might get more affordable. Not so much in the Bay Area because we're just in a bubble.
Yeah.
But across the board, nationwide, it should alleviate some of the problems that we're seeing with housing affordability versus income. And maybe income might go up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I foresee.
Yeah.
The Trump presidency.
Yeah, I agree. I think you can't time the market at all, and everyone's always like, "I'm gonna wait for the interest rates to come down," all that stuff. But it's just like you cannot time the market. Time in the market is the best thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't time it. Time in the market's the best.
That's always like the Alabama properties are great because all the things that we bought in December, we were like, what the hell? But they all went up like 20%.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't like because we timed the market. We just kept buying. And then even all my properties, because I've been buying like 2 to 3 a month, I'm like, dude, looking back at it, I'm like, I'm just glad I just bought 1 or 2 a month because then it's like now they're all kind of going up in value. All the rents are going up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, shit, there's no way I could have timed this. But now I'm way happier.
Yeah.
It's got to be in it.
Yeah. What's some things that you guys are most looking forward to going to the new year? Like, I know you got all the businesses now. Is there anything new and exciting that you guys are working on?
I think now I'm really excited because now we have the right people in the businesses, all the businesses. And so I'm like, now we're really going to start running.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was really just trying to figure it out still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still trying to find the right people. But now going into 2025, I mean, even right now, we got the right people. And with the right people, I think you're going to see this office, the Winners Club, the whole shebang. We're going to really shake things up.
Just to add on to what Brian's saying, I'm really excited for that. I think we're building a community, especially, and we're really dialing in our events. So that's what's bringing a lot of the people in, and I'm just waiting to see how that like pans out, how it flourishes, and how fast we can grow.
Yeah. Where do you guys see yourself in the next 5-10 years? Do you see skyscraper, Winners Club?
I got big dreams. I think in
No,
the
I
next
think
5 years,
you have to.
I mean, like just to name a couple of like material things, I guess. But like, I see a jet in the future because I do like to travel a
Hell
lot.
yeah.
I want to be able to just say, hey, we're going to Ohio. Why? We're gonna go meet up with somebody because that's what we did last time. But I had to hop on a Southwest or something like that, and it was terrible. But but jets, I think within our own organization, I think there's going to be probably more millionaires, right? Because the only way you're going to become a multimillionaire is if you build up millionaires around you.
Yeah.
So it's going to be that. I think. What else, Ray?
It's gonna be a bigger office. A row of Lambos parked in front.
Yeah, buddy. Valet.
More charities,
Yeah.
more parties, bigger events. You know, like right now, the only reason why we're able to throw these events for free is because we're funding it, right? But imagine like the more money we have, the bigger and more fun the events can be.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's like everything that we're doing now, I think 5-10 years from now, it's just going to be bigger and better.
Mm-hmm.
So the trips are going to get better. The vacation's going to get better. But the parties, the events, the lifestyle, the business, just bigger.
Yeah. Dialing in all the things that's working. I love that.
And like being a billionaire I think looking at that, it gets me excited because I'm like, dude, I can do so much for like the community. Imagine if I was a billionaire, bro, and I did like Flip to Riches. It wouldn't be at no freaking our office.
Yeah.
It'd probably be like, I don't know, screw it. Like I'm gonna just rent out like a freaking stadium. Let's just do it there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask also is like, you've obviously both had some success already. Like what's your why? Because once you start obviously having all the good with the money and all that stuff, like what keeps you motivated to every day to keep grinding?
For me, it's primarily based on my family and getting them all set up. That goes to not just my kids, but my parents, my sisters, everybody that I know, and all my friends. I just want to bring everybody up with me.
Yep.
And yeah, that's where I want to be. It doesn't have to be a private jet or anything, but as long as everybody's good and not having to worry about anything, if a private jet comes with it, great.
Not that expensive. 13, 14 million, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. If I could buy everyone in my family the Southwest flights or whatever, and we all go together, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to be the one to create generational wealth for my family and just bring everyone up like you guys said.
Yeah.
I think there's enough for everyone to go around, and if you're at the top by yourself, that sucks. I want to be at the top with everyone.
Sure.
Dude, it's boring.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, if you could do it with your team, it becomes so much more fun because, I mean, I got a lot of rich friends, and when we get together, it's a great time. But it's different when I'm with my team and I'm like, yo, he made like 6 figures, we're good. I don't need to pay for him. Like, and then it's like a different kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you guys a little perspective. We're there where I think like, my kids are gonna be good. My mom's good. Everybody's pretty good. It's no longer about them anymore. Now it's really, for me, that drives me. It's like, how far can I push this thing? How big can I get? How good can I get?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I will never get complacent. Because, like, God gave me this fucking talent. I'm going to push it.
Mm-hmm. And
then when I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to be like, I gave it everything I got.
Yeah. No regrets.
No regrets.
Yeah.
I'll slow down. Don't get me wrong. Like I took more trips this year than ever before. But even on my trips, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to do something. And I like it, and that's what I enjoy, and I'm really going to push this.
Yeah.
Like, if it's a billionaire, sure. And after we hit $1 billion, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go for a multi-billion. You know, like, we're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Until something changed, that's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your energy is definitely contagious. I want to fucking be here.
Come on.
We're going to be here.
Dude.
What's your guys' we're nearing the end of the podcast. I always kind of ask people very just like rapid fire questions. What's your favorite podcast? Obviously, besides the Winners Club, besides the Lowdown, what's your guys' favorite podcast?
I like the Graham Stephan show.
Okay.
I like his style is pretty good. Jack is a very good interviewer. Okay. And they bring on and they're very different. It's not just like business. It's like they got all the special guests. That's why I like their stuff.
Okay.
Right. I've just been recently listening to a lot of Bigger Pockets. The one where they give you the status of the current real estate market. That's kind of what I've been interested in. I forget what it's called. Yeah, I just put it on in the car when on my drive in.
Yeah. Okay, love that. What about favorite book? Any favorite books?
48 Laws of Power.
Okay, biggest takeaway.
A lot of what you can learn in that book can actually be applied to business, even though a lot of the context that they use is about war. But in business, it is war. And so for me, I like that book because it's like I can take the idea and then what I like to do is I try to apply it to my life. And I try to apply it to my history. Like, oh, man, if I would have applied this law there, I think I would have been better. And so it's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah.
Ray?
Never split the difference is a good one. And really, a lot of what I learned from there is negotiating, like how to talk to people, how not to like just accept basically splitting the difference. And yeah, that's the biggest takeaway for me.
Okay. When you guys are not doing real estate stuff, what's your guys' favorite thing to do?
Party.
And bullshit.
Yeah.
Relax. Honestly, like we both have kids, so it's just like
there's not
a lot of time is
off.
there. So it's the time that we have off and can do nothing. That's the best for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we like to run. We like to. I don't like to run. I only do the run club because they
Run to Riches every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
I do it because I like to go there and just smoke people. 'Cause I'm not even a runner, but lifting weights, working out, like basic stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Travel.
Okay. Well, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to do so?
Find me on my Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, Mr. Brian Tran.
Same Instagram, ray.leve.
Awesome. Well, everyone, I hope you guys found some value in today's show. I know I did. And thank you guys, obviously, for having me here. I really appreciate it. And so,
Appreciate
thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.